Hello, beautiful Cancerians. These are going to be your messages for the next little while or whenever you hear this. So don't take it as being too time specific, even though it says October. These messages will find you when you least expect it and also at the right time. All right, very short intro. It's let's start from here. Just before I turn on the camera, it was announced to me that I'm going to give you a healing. And I went, what? What do you mean I'm going to give them a healing? And then I wrote, trust yourself. Okay. So the moment I wrote, trust yourself, I knew that I was being asked to trust myself with whatever is coming. But it was also a message for you in some way, shape, or form to trust yourself. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to voluntarily put myself in a position of a vulnerability. And I'm walking you through it because there is a message in it for you. So Spirit will find eloquent ways of showing me as an example by putting me, although I am willing, in a position that will help and illustrate a situation you're either going through right now or might be going through later. So aside from the fact that I am slowly becoming accepting of the fact that I am a healer, we're all powerful healers. There is no time like present to put it into action. So what am I doing right now? I am voluntarily allowing myself to be at peace with the fact that even though I don't know how it's going to go or what I'm going to do next, I trust that whatever that is will find its right owner, meaning you. And I put little emphasis, or shall I say, I am doing my best to put little emphasis on what you might think about me doing this. So whenever you start something new, you, generally speaking, take some time to get used to it, to become comfortable, and then you own it and it just becomes a part of you. If it doesn't become a part of you yet, then you are trying. So this is such an interesting message. Okay, so that there is a message in there in itself somewhere with whatever I said, and then I'm going back, okay, now that I'm in this position, what do I do with this healing thing? And I'm being asked to say, explain to them what healing is. This is going to be one of a kind video. All right. So I'm having a conversation. All right. Okay, I just noted. I'm having a conversation with a being. This being is of feminine nature. And although I know her name, she's okay with the fact that I'm not allowing myself to say it yet because it's a little awkward, all right? And it has everything to do with judgment. So, I'm being perfectly honest about that. And, okay, why am I, so you're watching this live. This is like a comedy show now, right now. Now what? She says, tell them that I'm here to help you help them. So she's here to help me help you. And what this help looks like, mostly her giving me information that has the potential to fundamentally shift, change, and transform your life for the better. Me as Joanna saying this, I'm going, that's a big thing to live up to. Like, I don't know if I want to say that. And then she's saying to me, you're not saying it, I am. And the message is, oh, right, yes. Remember, Joanna, you trust her. You trust her. Therefore, if I trust her, I have to trust the process. This is a message for you. Although I'm talking about me, there is a message. There's a corresponding message that is flowing through these words to you. It has everything to do with trust and completions and starting new. All right, so I'm going to listen. I've never done this before. This is just out of this freaking world. Okay, she says, tell them that you are happy to see them once again. And I said, but I'm not seeing them. And she says, you know what I mean. I thank you for your participation. And the word participation is important for me to address, because in order, oh God, thank you. In order for me to help, in order for her to help me, I have to participate. And in order for me to help you, you have to participate. So you can see how I'm just amazed at how this is flowing. Oh, oh gosh, this is awkward. She's letting me know that it's okay to say who she is. I'm like, I'm not okay with it just yet. It's too soon. So, and here's the problem. If I don't feel comfortable saying who it is, then I'm not fully owning it. And if I'm not fully owning it, then my participation in it isn't 100%. And therefore, she cannot help me as much as she could, because I am not willing to give her my trust. Same goes for you. Again, there's another message in it for you. So I will say this female energy, this feminine energy, is sheer freaking power. And the way she comes through to me is through a very specific ancient Egyptian goddess. And that's as far as I will go. All right? And I'm not comfortable saying yet who it is. It's my issue, fully owning it. There will be time where I will. Part of it is because I am having difficulty accepting the fact, and I'm going to get emotional, that a power like this is working with me. That I am this lucky to experience this. And what I'm saying to you right now is that you are no different. So the difference between you and I is that I have quite a few years to practice this thing called trust. And you may just be beginning to find trust within you. So, particularly if you are a healer no matter what. Whether you think you are or whether you believe you are, that's something different. But you are everything all at once. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that whatever it is that you are after, whatever it is that you are seeking, that is already around you. It's energy. The difference is, because you're never separated. You're never separated from source. You're never separated from your power. You're never separated. The only thing that temporarily separates you is your physicality of the human body, human flesh, and the emotional, mental, and societal limits we put on ourselves. That's the difference. Some things are written in stone, like human bodies don't fly, right? They do in planes, but they don't fly. And one day we won't be here. But there's a whole bunch of area that I would call the gray area, where everything else exists. In other words, possibilities are endless. And you have access to all of that, providing you engaged in it with a certain participation. In other words, in order for you to see it objectified or physical in nature or an experience manifestation, you have to be able, at least in some part at the beginning, believe that it can be true for you. Because if you are sold on the fact that it can't possibly be true for you, then you've already lost it. You have just decided to eliminate yourself from the possibility of whatever that is for you. Whether it's money, whether it's a good job, whether it's a partner, whether it's joy, peace, whatever it is. Does that mean that every single human will win $1 million? Probably not. But chances are, if you focus on absolutely believing in the idea of abundance, then pretty soon you will find yourself feeling abundant without having the need to have $1 million. So, beautiful distinction, by the way. Okay, what's next? This is so different than any other time video that I've done. So bear with me because I feel like she's just kind of pushing information through. Okay, what's next? Next, we move on to the cards. Okay, so you're watching this live. I'm not going to edit this. I'm going to do it as is. I'm completely vulnerable about right now, but as a matter of fact, the moment she comes through, I trust her. I forget that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, because half the time I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I am participating I am participating in a way that I am allowing this to come through me, but there's no, my brain isn't producing this information. So it's I'm engaged. I'm engaged with this energy. It's a relationship. So the same way I have the relationship with her, my Egyptian goddess, you have the same relationship with life. And we can call life many different things. Point is, if your relationship with life is not very good for whatever reason, then your level of participation will not be as high as perhaps should be in order for you to clearly manifest or see that which you want. When you begin to see yourself as whole, you begin to remember who you are. And who you are is not you in the current state. Who you are is more than you can possibly think, or more than you can possibly think. However, putting that aside, actually not however, when you begin to think of yourself as whole, you begin to realize that there is nothing missing. And therefore, if there is nothing missing, then there is nothing you need to go get and find, which puts you in a space of inner abundance and inner peace. Just having this knowing that you are whole, because you are. Yes, you might have issues, you may have, quirks and this and that, and you might be an angry person, you might be happy. Yeah, you may have all of these things and then some. You're still whole, just the way you are, in a bigger picture, all right? Most people that I am aware of, including myself, because I'm a people too, think, at least to some extent, or at least for some part of life, that we are missing something, there is something wrong with this or that we are less than, that we should be more like this. In other words, there's an emphasis put on the idea of lack in self. When we engage in this conversation of lack within ourselves, whatever the conversation may be, we then correspondingly create. So we create from the space of lack. And therefore we think we need to find a lover, find a better paying job, find a better husband or a better wife or a better partner, find happiness, find this or that, go get this or that, fight for this. And what ends up happening is you're in a perpetual fight to get something or somewhere. And that implies you don't have it now, which means you're always trying to get it. But the problem is, when we believe in that, we're in this elusive war with ourselves. And the reason is that, I'm going to use an example. When you think of yourself as small, you will begin to do small things. You will keep yourself back. You will have a tendency to say less rather than more. You will have a tendency to suppress your feelings, emotions, your truth. You will have a tendency to overgive. You will do all those things because you feel small. In other words, you will be trying to be something that you are not. And that creates what I would call is an internal self-denial. Why? Precisely because what was said earlier, you're already whole. So if you think you're missing something, but you're not, you're constantly on a search of something you'll never find because it's not gone. It's not gone. It's not over there. It's what's inside. On the other hand, when you think of yourself as big and powerful, and when you think of yourself as someone who can versus someone who can't, and when you think of yourself as, yes, me, rather than why me, then you begin to engage in life differently. You still engage in life, same principles apply, but you're now coming from two different places. It's like planting seeds. You can plant seeds in the winter, and you can plant seeds in the spring. Chances are that when you plant seeds in the winter, they're not going to be as successful in terms of growth as when you plant in the spring. Yet you're still planting, there's still soil, there's still rain, whatever, but the difference is the conditions are different. So the reason why this analogy comes forth is because the conditions are such where you are more likely than not to make some great shifts which will bring accompanying great changes. So this is a time of new beginning for many of you. And new beginning isn't just in the month of October. New beginning is, it's a sense you can feel it. It can be any time. Generally, when there is a new beginning, usually what comes before that is some sort of an ending. So many of you listening to this either are closing a door or have recently closed a door, or you are between doors, so to speak. And the conditions are such, energetically speaking, where although it's time of much changes, these changes, given the right focus, the right energy, okay, the right participation, have the potential to show you huge growth down the road. Growth meaning something positive and something substantial, whether it be job, whether it be money, whether it be relationship. You guys get the picture. So whatever you hear from this, take it to heart. Don't take anything I say as gospel, ever. Never. I always say never believe a word I say unless you run it through your heart and your mind and see where it sits. If it feels right to you, even though you may not understand it, if it feels right to you, if your body says yes, then accept it as is and then look for confirmations. Okay? If the answer is no, and you can't stand what I'm saying, then this is not for you. The energy is just a total mismatch. So if you're still watching, chances are there's something in it for you, maybe not now, later. Perhaps what I am doing is I am planting a seed. And because the conditions are such that seeds have a tendency to grow, and the conditions are such that it will support growth, chances are that whatever you hear from here that may not initially resonate will have a huge impact on you down the road. And it's not because I am making impact on you or the feminine power is making impact on you. We are giving you keys or information. The reason why it will be so is because you choosing to take a chance on something, perhaps something you haven't thought about before, and accepting it for now and letting it be there, have the opportunity to see just how powerful you are in terms of creating. I'm hoping this is making sense. He's backing off right now, so I'm going to go through the cards. All right. Trust yourself is the other thing that I heard. What chakra? It's funny because now I'm going to go through the cards and it feels so small in comparison to how she felt. What chakra would be good for you to focus on? It even feels funny saying it, but anyway, I'm going to say it. What came out for you is your crown chakra. And again, the moment I saw crown chakra, I heard trust spirit, trust spirit, trust spirit. But it's not just trusting spirit over there. It's trusting your own spirit. It's having trust in you. It's having trust in your ability to create. I mean, after all, wherever you are in life right now, you have created it. You participated in this dance with the universe and in your own unique way, and you have created where you are at. Now, there will be one or two of you that will say, I'm in this position, I've never asked for this. Absolutely granted, 100%. You didn't ask this on a conscious level, but you chose to have this experience. And I'm not going to make excuses for it. I'm just going to say it. So if you are watching this channel, there is at least some part of you that believes there is something bigger than this thing called our physical life here. Some higher intelligence. You may even call it God. I don't know. But matter of the fact is that our conscious awareness, we know very little of what is, because we are limited by our own perceptions, by our physical mind, our human body, our 3D conditioning. So that's how I'm going to leave it. All right. So am I saying that you are causing yourself pain? Well, yes and no. Yes, sometimes life throws a curve and it fucking sucks. Does that mean that you've asked for this curve? God, no. But you've asked for a challenge, and this is how the challenge is presenting itself to you. And as we know, challenges are all about growth. So no, I'm not saying you're causing your situation, particularly if you're dealing with an illness. I'm not saying that at all, of course. But you are either participating in keeping it there, or you are supporting its healing. Okay, whichever way you're going, you're participating. So trust, for some reason, becomes very important here. Trusting your own spirit. Now, trust is important anytime, but particularly over the next little while, whenever you're hearing this. And I do feel is that for majority of you, it marks an end of a cycle, or an end of a situation, or an end of a certain era, where you will be, or currently will be stepping away out of your comfort zone, and you're on a way out and into something new. And no one has privy to your own inner being more than you. So listening to your intuition, and not only listening, but trusting it, becomes very, very important. Because whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not, you are being guided by spirit all the time. You may not know it. You may feel you're not worthy of it. Like, I have issues with this beautiful being because I feel, who am I, little Joanna? And like, what have I done to deserve this? And the reality is we're all that way. We're all powerful. We're all magnificent. We're all pure light. We're all whole. We're missing nothing. We're all like snowflakes, absolutely beautiful and individual. But we are in a physicality where our experience is all about limitations. We are limited in this structure, physical structure, for a reason. It's to experience what it's like. But within those limitations, there's huge potential for growth. So trusting yourself, hugely important over the next little, always, but especially over the next little while. Now I said, okay, give me more information. What is this trust about? And the card of harmony came in, and this is another message of trust. So this is the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is, first of all, it's a center of creation, and it also is a center for attracting abundance, particularly finances, because it's connected to safety and security. So for some of you, there might be some, let's call it healing, required around trusting yourself in some way, and the kind of trust that would, it's what I did at the beginning. I willingly put myself in a vulnerable position, and I trusted her, and I knew that she wouldn't throw me under the bus. I trust her with my life because I trust her. It's that kind of a feeling. So this could be a new relationship where you allow yourself to be vulnerable and you just decide to trust. This could be a job opportunity where something is presented to you and it may feel like it's above your pay grade, and you decide to go for it, and you trust that it was there for you, in front of you, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to apply or whatever, or something like that, and various other situations. But there's a certain element of vulnerability with this, okay? Am I explaining that correctly? That will do for now. So if you're supposed to get it, you'll get it, okay? And that will apply to some situations. This is obviously a general message, but this is trusting, it's going to be situational. It has to do with a move. You guys, we're all in between stages. We're all in transformations, different person on different level. But we are, a lot of us are moving from one way to another, even if it's just being one way in terms of thinking, and then shifting and transforming within in terms of how we will think later. So I said, okay, what's more information? Give me more, because I want to know more. Healing, crisis, and purging came up. And that's interesting, because in order for you to regain your own balance, wherever you have lost your balance, you need to face whatever has caused the initial imbalance. And there might be an opportunity for you to heal some old wounds, some past circumstances where you've thought you were over, but they may mysteriously come back again and say, I'm still here. So if that happens, if something comes up and you're like, oh God, I thought I dealt with it. It's not that you haven't dealt with it. It's just that this is the other layer, because everything is layers. Everything is layers. So the universe will always give you ample of opportunities to test yourself, to see where you're at. Because when you're faced with something, your personality comes out. The person that you are underneath, your clothes is very visible. So if you are petrified because you're getting a new job, or you feel completely insecure because you're starting a new relationship, that generally tells you this is what's kind of driving you inside. So it's now very visible, and because it's visible, it can be faced. So if you have anything that comes up over the next little while in terms of you feeling a certain way that you thought you have dealt with, and this will be from the past, it is important that you allow yourself to acknowledge that it's there and just to accept it. Just to accept it. Fighting with it makes no sense, because all you're doing is you're just fighting with what is true. And if you fight with what is true, then you are you're just fighting yourself. It's much better to just say, okay, I accept the fact that I'm still here and it still feels shitty. However, that does not mean that I have to be there forever. As a matter of fact, I'm dealing this way better than I've dealt with it before. So what does that mean? It means you've grown, all right? But there's something here about you needing to face some truths. And the way I feel it the most, how can I say it to them? Okay, remember who you are, you're not your body. So for many of you, this is going to be around how you feel about yourself in terms of your physicality, or how you feel about yourself in terms of what you are capable of, or what your talents are, or what you represent yourself within yourself physically. For some of you, it is around weight. Okay, so someone may say something to you and it may trigger something from the past that's weight oriented. For others of you, someone will say something, they'll make a comment, a positive one, but the way they say it, it will take you back to when you were in high school, when people have made fun of you because of something. So those are the sort of things that are being shown to me. So if it doesn't make sense to you right away, probably won't. Notice if it makes sense to you down the road. I'm just going to quickly go through the cards here. And I'm just going to ask, what is it that I need to tell them? Many of you are approaching a brand new beginning. And I hear the word of mouth. So for some of you, this new beginning will be because of word of mouth. So that could be an opportunity, could be a job, could be word of mouth. I mean, it could be anything, right? But it's not it's manifestation. For some of you, it's a relationship. And because of that, there will be an opportunity to let go of attachments. In other words, when situation arise, when there's a new beginning, because I see this very much as a new beginning, when there's a new beginning, oftentimes we can have fears about that new beginning. For example, like starting a new job, right? And our fears are supported by emotions, obviously, and then often by actions. So if you are starting a new job, for example, then this is your opportunity to communicate with yourself differently in terms of what you think you can and cannot do. Same thing applies to relationship, okay? By transforming the way you communicate yourself, or in other words, by shifting the way you relate to you, you will begin to take off the old chains that have been bounding you. So this is the proverbial devil, right? So it's attachments. In this form, it's leaving you. And when I see this leaving you, that is a fantastic thing for me to see. Again, whatever this new beginning is for you, and however it comes through, that gives you the opportunity to let go of the old chains. Trust yourself. Perhaps one of your attachments have been to people's opinions of you, whether it's how you look, how you think, how you feel, what you do, whether you're good enough or not good enough, or generally, you perhaps put a lot of value on what people think of you, and that would definitely be a hindrance, right? A little bit is okay, too much, not so good. So this might be an opportunity for you to shake that off a little bit more and let go of the attachment to needing to know what other people think, or how much value you put on what other people think. And I always tell my clients, you're never going to not care. It's going to very, 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 very few people just don't give a shit. Pardon my language. about what people think. People say that, but if they're really honest with themselves, it's a lie. Okay? But there's nothing wrong about caring what other people think. It's about how much value you put on what someone thinks versus what you think about you. And that's the difference. Because if you're completely closed off, then there is no opportunity for someone to offer you something different, right? On the other, because then you go into I know everything, and that's a problem. On the other hand, if you are so focused on what other people think and not really paying attention to what you feel is important to you in terms of what you think, then you're not really living you. You're living somebody else's life. So again, it's not too little and not too much. That's balance. If there's anything else that I want to leave with you is this. Many of you are leaving this guy behind. That's the 5 of Coins in reverse. That's the poverty consciousness of poverty. Not enough money, not enough love, not enough, lack mentality. And we all have it because we are here partly to experience that. But this is about bringing that more to a balance. It's the proverbial glass half empty versus glass half full. I don't need to go into which one is better, right? It's neither good nor bad, but one has a different result and the other one has a different result. And we all tend to go that the one that's half full is usually the one that we would like to pick. So you're balancing things out by perhaps facing the truth, by reorganizing your thoughts in terms of what your truth is, and maybe consider to believe a different truth, right? If you have believed that relationships suck, then that has been your truth up until this point. You now have a choice and a chance to cultivate new truth. In other words, you can now decide that that will no longer be your truth. You can do that right now. Granted, you don't have proof of it yet, but proof comes once you start to believe it, once you accept it, and once you acknowledge that I want my truth now to be that relationships are actually great. Not everyone's, but you probably know people who are in relationships and it's quite good. So if it's possible for them, why on earth would it be not possible for you? What's so different about you, right? The only difference is you're a snowflake. Everything else is the same. That's a beautiful freaking metaphor. So I think I'm going to leave it with that. I felt this was absolutely beautiful message for you. And I'm super excited for you. Next year, I feel is going to be tremendous growth for many of us. You as well. And May comes up for you for next year for some reason. So there is some good things to look forward to. And before I part, I will remind you of this. You are already whole. Therefore, accept it. Stop looking for things that are missing inside of you and stop looking for things that are better somewhere over there. Accept yourself as you are. Because until you accept yourself as you are right now, then you are in a perpetual state of inner fighting. And when there is inner fighting, there is no peace. Okay? I wish you best of luck. Please comment if you would like to. I'd love to see how you received this message. I wish you best of luck. If you want to find me in terms of me personally helping you, that information is down below. Also, Vimeo videos, 6 months, July, end of this year. That's also down on the bottom. More than anything, I wish you best luck and I thank you so much for being part of my journey. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this and I love what I do. So thank you for that. Best luck and see you soon.